Pikachu. Take your kid if you know what's...
Okay, we are going to go to our next guest. Hopefully they can hear us. Yes. And hopefully they can see us.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, they know how to do Skype, and thank the Lord above. I literally just, for the first time in my broadcast career, I just did a 7-minute interview with a guest who couldn't hear me on Skype, couldn't hear me on the phone, heard me enough to be able to plug his website, but that was about it. So I'm so glad that you guys are going to be able to do an interview and we can have an actual radio program today. So thank you. Thank you for doing this. So we are, now that is out of the way, we are going to go back to Skype, and we are going to find our host, or, well, I'm the host. At this point, I don't even know what the hell this is. We are going to go to Jaybird Wells. She is going to join us back here on Skype, and we have our next guest with us, and thank God they can hear us. Thank God they can see us, and thank God this is going to work. So go ahead and give us a brief introduction on yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, and we'll play some music here in a few.
Oh, wonderful. We're the Roogs. I'm Steve.
I'm Courtney.
And we just put out our first record as the Roogs. We've been in a band. We've been in bands for a long time. We are also married. We've been together for a long time. And now we're finally doing music that's just us and nobody else, which is really, really wonderful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So how did the Roogs get started?
Well, do you want to answer this, or should I?
A few years ago, we got together with a previous band. We'd been way back in the 80s, and we said, hey, let's try this again. We did some music together, and then as things evolved, that sort of ended, and Steve and I were like, hey, we're in this house with this studio. Steve's always making music, whether he's working with other people or not, and I'm like, we both really like what the other person does. Let's see what we can do on our own together. And it's been really, really good. We're fortunate to get to do it and just continue on. And we have, because we've been doing music for so long, we have so many different influences throughout the ages. We don't really like go, oh, we've got to sound like that band, or we've got to sound like that band. It's so hard to really kind of narrow it down. So we just start playing music, and it was like, this song feels good. This song, I don't know. This song, let's explore where this one might go. And just kind of being really open to it. And then...
Yeah, because songs write themselves. You know what I mean? You have to get out of the way of a song instead of trying to control a song. If you do that, then I think you can kill a great piece of music or a great piece of art. It's the same kind of thing. And I think that in a band situation, and I love being in bands, but there's a lot of opportunity for destroying good ideas. Does that sound kind of cruel and messy?
No, it does not. No, it does not. The Roogs with us today. Jay, do you have any questions for the Roogs?
Hi, Jane.
Hi. So I take it you guys are a couple then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together, and how has that affected you with working together and mixing music with pleasure?
We've been together for so long, we don't even want to tell you. I will say that we met at a PIL concert, and the opening up for PIL was the Toiling Midgets and Flipper. So that probably will give you a general idea of how long we've been together, and of course how old we are.
The Toiling Midgets and Flipper.
Yeah.
Both at one point, ironically, my old CB names. But go ahead. And so you guys, how do we find your music online? How do we download your music? How do we buy your music? How do we get involved with what you're doing?
Spotify. We're on all the streaming services.
Bandcamp,
SoundCloud. Bandcamp has an extra song. We have a cover version of the song 40 Versions by Wire, because we're big Wire fans. And we also really, you remember how Bauhaus used to always put out, every time they put out an album, they would always have a cover?
Yep.
You know, so like Ziggy Stardust, you know, Third Uncle, you know, not King's Lead, yeah, Third Uncle. So they would always do that. We love that idea, and we listened, like Court said, we listened to a lot of music. I mean, the thing is, we start off as fans. You know, we're just huge music fans.
Yep.
And we like a lot of the more obscure stuff, but we also like Smokey Robinson. We also like, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, it's true. Love great music.
And back to one of Jay Bird's questions was, as far as the relationship versus the music, it's like we've had basically rehearsal stuff, studio stuff in our living room basically since we first got together. So it's always been a part of it. It's never been really separate. Even when I wasn't actively doing stuff, when Steve wasn't working with a few other people, it's kind of like that's part of our life, you know. So
just we have better equipment now.
That's awesome.
But it's the songs, you know, can be done on very minimal equipment and be good if they're good songs, or they can have a lot of technology, and still the song's got to be there in the first place. You know?
Fantastic. Well, tell us about I Still See You. We're going to play that here in a few moments.
Ooh.
Wait. Why did you say ooh?
Because it's an emotional song. And a lot of it has to do, there's bits and pieces that Court writes the lyrics, and there's bits and pieces that have to do with her mother and some stuff that we're kind of dealing with right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the first songs, like in previous incarnations, I never sang. I've always played flute and guitar. And in this incarnation, I'm singing. And so I started writing these lyrics quite a while ago with our other group, and didn't really quite work out. So it sort of holds a special place in our hearts to this kind of heartbreaking song in a sense, you know, but it was a start to branch out in new directions with me singing and writing the lyrics. And
so was it a way for personal healing then?
Yeah.
I would say, I guess it has that aspect. I think, you know, some things that are really personal, they're also become universal, because a lot of people have similar situations in their life where they relate, where things have changed, yet you see how that glimmer of the person or the situation as you remember them. So.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to put you guys on hold here on Skype, play the song, and be back here in a few moments. And right now, it is I Still See You, and it is here, of course, on the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. You can get a hold of us online, jiggyjaguar.com. That's JIGGYJHEUAR.com. Lots of different things happening, and lots of Mercury retrograde things, and I'll be excited for Tuesday. We can get back to doing radio. Yes, we can get back to doing radio right now. I Still See You. That is the Roogs. And it's here on our world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. We are coast to coast and border to border. We are going to go back to the Roogs. And the Roogs and Jay Burwells both join us back here on our big program. And so, where do you guys get your musical inspiration from?
Oh, stuff we listen to, you know. And the thing is, you're cruising along in life, and all of a sudden you hear something like the first time I heard, Washed Out. And I was like, damn, that's really good. Who is that? You know, and then, and I don't like everything that Washed Out does, but, God, some of it is just so good. And recently, a band that, because we're not really into metal that much, but a friend of ours turned us on to Power Trip, Execution, the Swing of the Axe. Holy shit, what a great song. Damn, just so good. And that's the thing. There's all this old music. There's Roxy music. There's Pink Floyd. There's everything that Brian Eno has ever done. But then you hear something else that comes along, and it just like it takes you off in this whole other direction. Because my first emotion that I get is jealousy when I hear something really good, and then I've got to explore it, and then that forms its own thing, and no matter how hard you try to copy something, you can't. It's always going to end up sounding like you. So, but I'm hogging. You say something.
No, that was pretty good.
Off camera, or off record, we were talking about tattoos and stuff. Is that a headset you got on your ears, or is that earrings?
That's plug. He's got a tattoo up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are just really nice, clear blue rutilated quartz. I have a big collection.
Do you know?
Oh yeah.
So, how does your image relate with your music?
I don't know if it does.
I don't think it does either. So, do people give you weird looks because your image doesn't match your music?
I don't know. I've never even thought of that. I think that back in the old days, back in when we were touring and such, it was a lot different. And we both have pictures that are incredibly embarrassing. But the thing is, back then it was more of a thing, and I know that back in the old days we hated being associated with goth. And when I look at pictures of back then, we look pretty damn goth.
That's
awesome. Almost like hating your parents and then completely acting like your parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how do we find you guys on social media, websites, all these things?
You're breaking up.
Broke up a little.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Mercury Retrograde. Thanks, everybody.
Social media,
websites, all these things.
Okay, we don't have a website. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, and so it's just do a search for the Roogs.
Fantastic.
It should be the _ Roogs, and you should be able to find us everywhere.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on and chatting with me and Jay, and really appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
It was good to see you.
Definitely. We'll talk to you soon. There they go, the Roogs. And we are going to do this. We have got a guest that is apparently doesn't know what the hell they're doing. We go from one guest to someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So this will be all so much fun. So we are going to go back to, we are going to play a tune. We are going to play Sidestep from the Roogs. And then I am going to go try to figure out just what the hell is going on. And we've got more coming up. we go back live to our telephone.